This is The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. Whether you're a seasoned real estate expert, a first-time home buyer, or if you're simply passionate about hearing small business stories, this is the podcast for you. Join us as we dive deep into the world of real estate and beyond.
Today's episode is sponsored by Eco Roofing. Eco Roofing is the premier Arizona state roofer that offers free estimates as well as the best roof warranty that will last 25 years. Make sure to check them out and check the description.
Well, welcome to episode 60 of The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. I am your host, Janine Igliane, with my co-host, Ryan Hatcher. And our guest today is Shane Dodd. Shane is my former broker, but Shane is also like a jack of all trades. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things today. I'm so excited. I love when I get to have people on that I know and really respect and admire. And Shane, you are one of those people. So thanks for being on our podcast.
Well, Janine, thank you for having me.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
You're a broker. And one of the things we like to do on this podcast is we want to hear your story. So where did you grow up? How did you get into real estate? Why did you become a broker? We want to know all the things.
Just run, Janine. That's all I have to
Go.
say.
Yeah.
No, ultimately there's always been a passion for sales in my life, and immigration officer from, working at restaurants and managing and things. And I just missed that sales portion of it. So I got into real estate 22 years ago and haven't looked back since.
Wow.
And it's definitely been great.
And you started as a solo agent?
Solo agent, then ran a team, and then got into management and worked my way up from there. Review broker, then managing broker, and then designated broker.
Can you talk about, because we say broker, we know what that means, but maybe the person listening doesn't. What does that mean?
Broker means broke and unemployed. No, broker means you're overseeing the agents in your office, and you're responsible for their actions, and you're usually taking customer complaints and getting down investigations, things like that, working with the Department of Real Estate, grievance committees, MLS disputes, things like that. All the fun stuff.
Yeah. So why would anybody want to do that?
Yeah, that's what I say. Just run. No. Ultimately, it takes somebody special, somebody with some patience. Not everybody has the temperament
for sure
for a broker. You have to kind of be even kill. You can't speak down. I'm not any different from anybody else. We all make mistakes. And, my philosophy is, it definitely just learn from them and move on. But I'm not one that will ever tell you what you did and it was, totally wrong and you should have never been there.
Yeah.
I just want to be real with you and try to get you through it.
Yeah. And that's a hard job that you have, because you're right. The complaints are going to come to you, and someone's mad at their agent, or another agent is mad at the agent, right? They're going to call you because technically you're the one that gets paid, and then you pay us.
Yep.
So it
comes through the brokerage to the agent.
Right. So that does take a special person. I can say this about Shane because you were my original broker.
Yeah. For 6 years.
Yeah. So
You were mine for about a month.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
I still call Shane to this day and bug him with questions.
I like Janine. Janine's always calling with good stuff. I'm like,
sure.
oh, wow, that one time in band camp, Janine? I'm like, don't go there, okay?
But you always have an answer, and I just so appreciate that. You're super knowledgeable. So you're the broker at Realty One.
I am.
You want to talk about that at all?
So I'm one of the 8 brokers at Realty One, and then we have 3,000 associates. So
That's
definitely
amazing.
we have 600 out of my branch office. So I'm in charge of 600 agents
That's
that
insane.
I oversee.
It's a big group.
It is a big group. Yeah.
Some of my
definitely.
favorite agents are at your office.
Yeah, there's a lot of big hitters
Really good
down
ones,
there.
yeah.
Definitely.
Shane, I want to talk about, because this is something that I've also been the beneficiary of, is you have a school of real estate.
Oh yeah.
My daughter
That's
is currently,
always good.
yeah. So can you talk about that? How
Yeah,
did you what
do,
made you want to do that?
Definitely just something different, working, having my hands in many cookie jars, as you could say. And, I definitely started that, I don't know, it's been 12, 13 years ago, and kind of grew it from there. And it's definitely massively improved over the 13 years, and we continue to add material. We have the 90-hour pre-licensing program, and I'm just finishing up with the 90-hour broker licensing.
Interesting.
That one was a bear because there is no textbook companies out there that provide that material. So you have to create all your own.
Yeah.
But thank God for AI.
I bet,
Oh,
right?
ChatGPT.
Oh, it's the best. And then you do like the CEs, our continuing education. So that's where I go for all my.
Same here.
Definitely. Yeah. So the continuing education, we're the home of one free CE class a month. And then also your local association, we serve, is also having a special where you get the full 24 hours for free.
Oh, nice.
For free.
It's super handy because we have to take 24 hours of CE credit every 2 years. And usually that's in the form of a 3 or 4 hour class that you go to physically, take notes, and then get credit for it. And you have to be there for the whole time. What I love about your program is I can do it from home, and I can do all of the CE credits in a very short time frame. So
True. Yeah, we could be, sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
In your favorite, watching your TV and doing your CE credits. Favorite little beverage. I don't know. You need to focus on the class, but definitely.
One year I had a surgery, and so I'm laying in bed, and I literally was just sitting there reading and listening and doing
totally. You could totally just, as long as you have internet, you could definitely do the classes. Sometimes people are traveling in a car for a long road trip, and they're doing it on their tablet or their phone. Yeah. So definitely it works well for online. And I'm grateful that the state allows us to do that because other states only have in-person classes.
Interesting.
Or they make their agents take 50-50. Nevada is one of them.
50 online, like 50. Oh, wow.
50% online and 50% in person or all in person.
Well, when we got our real estate licenses, we had to go physically to the classes.
The class.
Now it's just online. Right?
Now it's just online. So both the salespersons and the broker's license.
That would have been nice because that's I think 18 classes and they were 4 hours a piece.
It's 90 hours. Yeah. It's 90 hours of pure enjoyment.
I don't know. If you have a real estate license, do not let it lapse because you never want to do that again.
Ever again. I don't wish that upon anybody.
What would you say, Shane, for someone that's thinking about, maybe I want to get into real estate, what is the best way for them to explore that? What would you say? What advice would you give them?
Ultimately, real estate is one of those games where you have to know people. It's obviously, and a lot of people think they get into real estate and they're going to make millions and millions of dollars from day one. And then they stay home and watch Oprah. Right. And I'm like, what's going on here? Unless you know Oprah, you're not making that kind of money right up front. And you have to go bust it every day. And open houses and opportunities and fairs and getting in front of people. So if you're a very social person and you could connect well with others and you're not inverted and staying at home and sitting on the couch all day thinking people are coming to you, definitely I would say get out there and get it done. But that's why the rate of agents not surviving in the first 2 years is definitely very high. Yeah. I mean, what do we have? 96,000 licensees in the state of Arizona
currently.
Oh yeah, it's just insane.
Gosh, that's
it's
way
insane.
higher than I thought.
So, but it's an 80-20% principle. 20% do the work, 80%.
And I'd say
onesie, twosies a year.
I'd say probably 90-10 even.
Definitely depending on the trends and where we're at. But an average agent across the United States only does 2 deals a year.
Wow.
I don't want to be average.
Right.
I couldn't even afford to eat top ramen.
Right. And I think
that stuff's expensive.
Yeah. To that point, it's like, you have to be self-motivated because there's nobody that's going to stand over and say, hey, did you make your phone calls? Did you talk to your people today? Right. So you have to be self-motivated. The other thing that I've said is people say, I want to get into real estate because I like looking at houses. I think that's wrong. I think you have to like people, like you just said. You have
to have a people.
Because at the end of the day, that is a huge part of what we do is just managing people and helping them walk through one of the biggest financial transactions of their life. So with that comes stress, comes emotions, right? All of that. So you have to be able to help your clients, walk through that.
Well, I think a lot of realtors struggle coming from the W-2 world to now you're an entrepreneur essentially, and you got to go out and hunt if you want to eat, right? And I think there's a lot of struggle there with that transition.
Yeah, no, most definitely, because they're used to having somebody over over them,
Totally,
pushing
telling them what to
telling them what
do.
to do. You have you have to plan your own schedule. You have to have a business plan. And a lot of people don't treat it as a business. And they make their first check and they go spend it on a brand new car. I'm like, what are you doing? You need to be restructuring your business, getting back in.
Yeah.
Not going and blowing it. Yeah.
They'll work hard and get a couple of things going, and then they stop. And then that closes, and now they got to go do it again.
I see it in so many seasoned agents too. We forget. The old dogs forget what it used to be like when you first came into the market, and then their business dries up.
Yep.
And then, we got issues.
Yeah.
And then I see these $1 million producers no longer producing $1. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what happened?
Well, what is that saying? You know, something about the rent is due every day or whatever. Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. You have to keep going. And the things that we do today, we won't really see the benefits of for several months down the road. And there's also the side of it where we spend a lot of time, a lot of energy with clients, and sometimes it doesn't work out and you don't get paid on that. Yep. So accounting for all of that, I think also accounting for taxes, I think is something agents forget to do. God bless
taxes. I love tax season. That's my favorite time of the year.
I'm
Says
sure.
No one.
Right? But yeah, set aside, make sure you put money aside from the very beginning, set those good habits.
Shane, you've been paying your dues.
Right?
Come on, Janine, let's be real. Yeah. You've been paying our realtor dues and MLS dues every year. Yeah. Amazed how many people drop out because they can't
afford
do
that.
Even that. But that's bad planning.
Yeah.
Bad
for
planning.
For sure. So. What would you say in your experience, Shane, and with all the amazing agents that you've worked with, what are some, here are some traits that I see in the most successful agents?
A drive, a spark, a vision. I guess definitely having that where they want to be. And I've seen it in so many. I've known agents that were, working just a 9-to-5 job in a brokerage, and then they blew up to be a $1 million agent. And we know who we're probably talking about because we both worked with him. And he was in property management, and then he blew up to have this mega team, and now he's all national. And I'm like, whoa, what the heck happened here, dude? Mm-hmm. Because he had a vision. He had something on paper, and he went with it, and he busted buns every day, day in, day out, until it came true.
Yeah.
And he's not letting off the gas either because he knew what it takes to get there. Yeah. And, he's continuing to thrive on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Definitely. I don't see a lot of passion. Definitely when I do interviews, I'm always like, it's on you. I can't make you do any of this. I could highly suggest it, but any brokerage is not going to make you do anything.
Right.
Even a team can't make you do something. They could just boot you off your team.
Right. Right.
But it's on you to go do those activities every day. And some of them suck. I'm going to be brutally honest. They do suck. We don't like it. And it's the same thing in life, right? Sometimes we don't like doing things and we put it off, and we'll do that one tomorrow. The gym would be one of those, Janine, where we make these New Year's resolutions and we just don't follow through. Yeah. So where's our follow through? So the people that I see really succeed at a high level, follow through.
Yes.
It's all about follow up.
Yeah. I love that. Speaking of the gym, I love working out with you. Shane's a killer at the gym.
We always love working out with Janine.
You guys compete against each other?
Oh yeah, Janine's over there doing one-handed burpees.
No, these
guys
in between
ups.
sets will be doing push-ups, burpees, all of it, just to keep going. Yeah. I'm like, you guys are insane. I'm just chilling. Yeah. No, I love working out with Shane. Shane definitely brings the energy to the workout. He's cheering for you, hooting and hollering. He just makes it fun. So
I'm more of a shy guy.
I don't think so.
No,
I've seen you work out in a full suit.
Yeah.
What else have you crazy?
Today's Halloween.
Well,
you didn't wear
you missed a pink tutu outfit. That was disturbing. That was the thing you just don't want to ever see ever again. I don't even want to see it. And then I was John Wick meets Wednesday Addams yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I wore Wednesday braids and dressed all in black
and
so
wore
a suit
on. Yeah, you did an F-45.
Oh yeah, it was brutal.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh,
it was brutal. And Santa's coming, so it's going to be pictures of Santa.
I love it.
I'm going to bring a big suit and bring Santa.
Oh, I'm definitely.
That's cool.
I'm definitely going to be there for that one.
Is Santa going to have a big belly?
No, Santa's ripped. Santa's coming in F-45 ripped, man.
I love it. Shane, let's talk about some of the changes in real estate. Not only what has changed, but what's changing and what's coming. So can you talk to us about that?
The department obviously has a new regime now, and they're doing a good job. You speak to some people, they're like, oh my gosh, change, horrible.
Yeah.
But definitely sometimes it's okay to put new blood in. And I definitely, as governors change, they appoint the commissioner, and the commissioner of real estate now is new. She was one of an agent before, so she understands the background, but she hired actually the deputy commissioner is one of our old managers, which is Mandy Neat.
Oh, okay.
And she's very knowledgeable, very guest speaker, definitely a national speaker, loves education. So she's really taken the department to a new level with the educational side of it. They're revamping right now, actually, rolling out sometime next year, like a whole new 90-hour program for licensees. So right now, licensees just learn all the basic legal jumbo, you have to learn it to pass the test.
Right.
I would say the majority you'll never, ever use again. I don't remember last time I calculated the square root of 5
Right.
versus whatever they taught me in there. But now it's actually how to write how to do your real estate business, how to write a business plan, how to be successful in real estate,
nice.
and agency and representation, and working with clients. And we forget a lot of those things even as agents of how important our job truly is and what we owe our clients.
For sure.
I remember taking the test, and somebody in preparation said you'll actually use about 10% of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a waste.
Yeah.
So that's so
I've already
good.
forgot that 10%.
Yeah. Well, it's so good though that it's actually going to be practical information.
Yeah, no, it will
agents.
be there. And I'm like, okay, great job, department. Good job. Let's do this again.
I love that.
So I'm excited to see what that is. That will be rolling out sometime next year with the Department of Real Estate. And then the new requirements for licensees, where they have to take the water, Firewise, and deed fraud. Those are the 3 big things that we face in Arizona. So the Department of Real Estate now has mandated basically a 1-hour class of each of those 3 hours total for a general credit, but that's now mandatory for all real estate agents to take.
Fire?
The fire is talking about how to prevent fires, fire areas that would be highly concerning. You disclose to your clients, things like that. So this would be somebody that's working in the the White Mountain areas or Flagstaff, things like that. But definitely, we all need to be aware of it, because if you're selling out in rural Maricopa or Florence, things like that, you're definitely going to use it to wildfire. So
then water for flooding.
Water and our water shortage that we're having here in Arizona. I mean, we're in a drought still. I mean, and we continue to grow.
Gosh, that's crazy,
Where's the water coming from?
Right.
Better start importing that stuff.
Right.
So we got to figure it out and conserve. I'm definitely, all about watering the lawn, but we got to be smart about this.
Yeah.
So
especially
we
here
live in a
Arizona,
desert,
right? I heard, I don't know if this is a totally random side note, that all the pools that are in Arizona and then all the grass that we put here that doesn't naturally belong has kind of changed the climate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I've heard as well. And the
Isn't that interesting?
humidity.
Yeah.
Just from the pools.
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
It is crazy. What else? Any other changes? Shane?
No. I mean, overall, the department's doing a great job in that, and they're starting to enforce, more of the things that we need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
So, but overall, no, the industry's going strong.
Yeah.
And just take it one day at a time. But something always changes from lending
Right.
to the department to how a brokerage does things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's so fun about real estate, because it's not the same monotonous
Totally.
thing day in, day out. It's something new every day.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to adapt, I highly recommend don't do this job.
Yes.
Right. Get out. Yeah.
Get out.
Well, not to mention the actual function of the business itself, but even how to market is different.
Totally.
I mean, even from when I started 6 years ago and how we market today, it's almost all social media.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane.
It's all
So-
internet driven.
So a 30-year agent, somebody's been in this for 30 years, man, if you don't adapt, you're done.
Look what AI has done to our industry. I mean, I use it on a daily basis to help with my school, but what it's doing
Listing
to real estate.
descriptions and
It's beautiful. I'm
It
like,
is.
where did however I lived without AI?
Right.
how to create content.
Definitely. it's not like back in my day where we had to walk uphill and downhill to get this listing.
Both
or the
ways,
MLS books. I started when there was still MLS books back
That's
in
what
the
I've
day.
heard. Yeah, my dad tells me that.
Yeah, I still have one. Like I sold it on eBay for like $1,000. No,
you
I'm just joking. No, I'm joking you. But no, ultimately those kind of changes, and it's just kind of cool to see way our industry has changed over even the last 22 years that I've been in it.
Yeah. So. I think I agree. That's one thing in our business is that it's always going to change, and you have to be willing to adapt and adapt quickly. Right. I want to switch gears because Shane, you are an entrepreneur at heart. You really are. I love all that you kind of do and how your mind thinks. And I want to talk about some of those other things outside of necessarily just real estate. So one of the other things that you do that I have partaken in is you teach a conceal carry class.
Oh yeah, the good old gun class.
Yeah.
No, I've been doing that for years since I was an immigration officer. I just carried it forward, had my FFL, sold firearms, things like that. But definitely the concealed weapons class definitely is a great training for first-time users or somebody that's been carrying a gun for years.
Yeah.
It's not required here in the state of Arizona anymore, so the class is not as popular as it once was. But I remember days when I had 90 to 100 students in one class. I mean, that was a lot to manage, but definitely, as things change, but it's nice to have it in other states too.
Yeah.
So when I travel, it's like, that's what you take.
Yeah.
It's like your credit card.
Well, and I think it was good for me to take it because I did learn a lot, and things that I would have thought were one way actually weren't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one of my big ahas from that class was that if you show your gun in like a aggressive manner, that you can be in the wrong, even if you think you're trying to show them to defend yourself.
It's called defensive display.
Yes.
And defensive display means that if you were not the aggressor, because all these things are you not being aggressive, but if you were put into a situation where you felt like your life was threatened, you could display your gun. Now, I don't know why you'd want to, because that might escalate it even more so, and you might end up, hurting yourself or hurting others. So, my rule of thumb is always, if it's concealed, keep it concealed, right? Yeah. Until life and death. And this is the only option that you have. But the best option is to distance yourself and walk away from it.
Yeah.
It's not worth getting in those altercations, especially with the litigious society that we live in today. Everybody's so happy and they want a piece of it.
Which is why it's good to get the designation or certification, right?
Yeah, to know all those things. To know all those things.
What does your class look like? Is it in class or is it field work as well?
No, it's in class. Okay. It used to be field work where they did shooting range day and everything else, but the state only requires a basic pistol now.
And this is the fingerprinting one as well, right?
This is, yes. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's a full enchilada. But everything's now digital, so now even the department's frowning upon receiving the rolled prints anymore, and they want you to go to a digital. And speaking of digital prints, all agents should have their fingerprint cards updated, because the department will start enforcing that rule where you have to have your fingerprint card and it has to be valid when you go to renew. So a lot of agents don't know that. It does. It expires every 5 years.
Well, and I learned that there are different levels. There are different levels of cards. There is
clearance.
So when I became an assistant basketball coach at the high school here, I had to get another level up.
Yeah, my wife has one as a teacher, definitely. But, it's definitely good if you're a volunteer person, even at a local church or event or anything, or daycare, you have to have one. So you might as well just get one to have it.
Are you going to do any fingerprint clearance card classes anytime
soon?
No,
ultimately there is hundreds of locations throughout the valley, and they've made it, the Department of Public Safety has made it very easy to go onto the website and do it all online.
Are they the same places as the driver's license?
Sometimes, yes. It's those types of places. Okay. Yes, it's totally like that. I went to, I think it was an insurance company, and they're throwing the fingerprints in the back. I'm
Interesting.
I tried to get it at my real estate office just to have there, but there was already one like a mile down the road, so the company wouldn't provide me the machine. So, because it's a special machine that communicates with the database of wherever they keep all your fingerprints. So, again, Big Brother.
Yes.
No. It's a digital world. We have, we have our information all over the.
Totally. You just have to.
Everything.
Well,
Everything's
may be to your
everywhere.
benefit someday where you can identify yourself as somebody that's not participating in something else.
Yeah. No.
I was telling somebody, I just assume I'm always on camera.
Always.
Just always.
Yeah, when you're showing houses, when
all
you're
the
out
time. Yep.
talking
Even driving.
about
Yep.
negotiations. Go
Someone's always
somewhere
listening.
private because you always have to assume and they're you can't go sue them because you
Right.
always have to assume that you're being recorded in
Right.
some way. But remembering that is a key negotiations because I've had complaint calls where they came in and said your agent was bad mouthing my house and I've watched it all on my ring.
That's right. I
I'm
tell
like,
my clients, don't
Oh my
watch it.
goodness.
Just don't watch it.
Well,
But
every buyer, I say, please know you're being listened to.
yeah,
Just
you're being
assume.
listened to and
So
recorded.
do
so
not say anything
Yeah.
until we are in the vehicle.
Yep. Yeah.
what would you say, Shane, are some, because one of the reasons I did your class was so that I could feel comfortable carrying a gun in the event I felt like I needed to. Because there are some times, especially as a female realtor, that it's scary or you are unsure or uncertain. What would you say are some good, just overall safety tips for realtors?
Just be aware of your surroundings. I think so many of us are in a tunnel vision world that we live in. We're called the garage society for a reason, right? We pull in our garage, don't know anybody, don't look left, don't look right.
Yeah.
And we focus in our life the same way. We're going through the grocery store, we're not even looking, to left or right. We're not aware of our surroundings. So if we could become a little bit more aware and take off those blinders, I think that you would prevent a lot of problems from coming. And don't put yourself in a situation where you feel uncomfortable. So like an open house, a vacant open house where you're there by yourself and you're a female especially, I wouldn't be going into rooms with strangers.
Right.
I would be standing somewhere that I have multiple avenues of getting the heck out of there.
That's good. Yeah.
I have a 16-year-old daughter, just started driving, and we've had lots of conversations about putting your phone down, being aware when you pull into a parking lot, look before you get out.
Oh yeah.
See who's next to you, all those things. So that is heavily on my mind.
Constantly talking to my girls about that. They're 17 and been driving for a year. It's scary. That's why I have so many gray hairs. But
Even
ultimately,
getting gas at a gas station.
Oh,
yeah, because there's someone over there. Well, Dad, this guy came up and asked me for a jump. I'm like, did you get back in your car and lock the doors?
Yeah.
Well, no, I was going to go over and help. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
I've trained you better than this,
I know,
girl.
right?
Again, definitely stranger danger. But
Stranger danger. Be aware of your surroundings.
there is nice people in the world too, but
Yeah.
be aware.
Too many screwballs.
There's a lot of dysfunction in our society, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, switching gears again. One of the other things that you do that I think is super interesting and super cool, and I'm hearing more and more agents do this as a tax saving strategy, is Turo.
Yeah, Turo.
Can you talk to us about
rental cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like the Dodge rental cars. Ultimately there is that it's another way of putting your money somewhere instead of getting taxed on it, throwing it back into another investment, just like you would a rental or anything else. But definitely the ups and downs of renting cars. You got to deal with. Sometimes you got to deal with the idiots that rent them. And they don't respect other people's properties.
Yeah.
And then you're tracking and hunting that down. So it has its pros and cons to it, but it's fun. At one time I had 15 cars on the platform. Wow. I'm down to like 5 brand new cars that I rent out because a new car is easier to maintain than a one that's constantly breaking down.
Yeah. What do you find is your best?
What's your favorite?
That rent the best.
A compact or something that anybody could afford. I'm not into the luxury. Like sometimes, I hear people buying these Lambos or Corvettes, $100,000 Corvette. Well, that's awesome. I could go out and buy one of those.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody renting that stuff.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to rent my nice Model X Tesla. I mean, you're going to ruin it.
Yeah.
So definitely just seeing how they are, regardless if they're spending $200 a day or if they're spending $40 a day. So I try to attract the more economical or budget friendly because there's more of them. We can't all afford a $300 a day car.
Yeah.
There's very rare, even the people that can afford it, don't want to.
Yeah.
So-
because that's why they can't afford it.
So where do you put these things?
Ultimately I have them stored in a parking lot, and they come and go. But the goal is to never see them.
Okay.
If I'm seeing them, then I have issues. So it's constantly the give and flow. I've just ventured down to what's called Get Around, and Get Around is another platform like Turo that rents it out to Uber and Lyft drivers.
Oh.
So right now, some of my cars are being on Uber and Lyft platforms, and they're using them
So
to
you
go
never see those.
generate. And I've never seen them. So like 2 of my cars I haven't seen for the last 4 months.
Wow.
Interesting.
So why do they do that? Just so they can preserve their own car?
They could preserve their own cars. So I mean, these are getting a lot of miles on them. But again, I bought these cars to make money and not worry about the miles, and they're not my daily driver. If this is your daily driver, don't do this tactic.
Yeah.
It's not a smart idea.
Yeah.
So what's one of your vehicles?
A Hyundai Elantra, and then I have a Nissan Versas, and then Toyota Corollas, the smaller ones. Something that's compact or mid-size. I don't have anything too big. I have an SUV. Vans I've heard are really good on the platform. Things that normal people drive on a daily basis.
And this is mostly people coming here to visit for a week?
No, it's a lot of just locals too. I mean, I stopped going to the airport because it was such a drag on my day. I mean, you almost have to hire somebody to go take it to and from the airport.
Yeah.
So I was like, enough, so I just have them pick it up at my parking lot, and it's usually local people that have their cars in the shop, or their car are broke down, or they just need a reliable transportation for a week.
So they use it to get to the airport, and then what happens to it?
Oh, no. They would, wherever they picked it up from, they have to drop it off from. Okay. So I haven't, now occasionally do have those special ones, as we call them, where they do abandon it somewhere, and then I'm responsible for bringing it back. And then they get charged, of course, but then those are the people that don't pay, and then you have to go track that down. And it's
what percentage would you say is that nonsense? Like
15% out of 100. So I definitely say it's a little higher than what you would think, but you do have to deal with some headaches sometimes.
Yeah.
So some days I'm like, what in the heck did I just do?
I don't know if I can give you a plug. Can I give you a plug? Do you want more? Because that's why you would have you do it for us.
Well, yeah. I mean, ultimately you would have somebody manage it like that.
Yeah.
So
you're saying I could buy a vehicle and throw it in your fleet?
Yes. But you obviously pay him for that, right?
Yeah, you do that, for the, because I mean, obviously the host is making money, you're making money as the owner. Again, that's cool. Not something that you would ever care about, if we've lost 3 in the last month on accidents or, whatever. So definitely,
there's pros and cons.
There's pros and cons.
Yeah,
so you can't be upset when something goes awry.
Right.
And if you have a loan on it, you really can't be upset, because if you don't have gap coverage, you're SOL of covering that difference.
What's the insurance look like?
It's a business insurance. It's a flat rate of $100.
Okay.
That's not bad.
So and they just cover the basic liability of when the host is driving it to and from a location. So you can't use them for personal use. I can't go, shopping with it and, taking it up to my cabin and driving all over town. It's to and from a location, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to somebody recently who just got into this, and he's doing like a big, I don't know what you call it, a commuter style van.
Gotcha.
And he's saying that that's been really successful. A lot of like local schools will rent it for the day just to go to their games and stuff.
There's a lot of that. The vans are definitely, I would say, if I invest again, that will be something I put some money behind.
Like one of the big Mercedes?
Just like a
bigger van,
like a mini bus almost.
Mini bus, the little mini buses, or like a family of 15.
Right,
they buy those.
I forget what they're called.
This was with the farm cousins a month ago, and I was driving theirs because they have 12 kids, and I'm like loading them all up. I'm like, okay, we got everybody, and I'm driving this big bus van looking thing, and I'm like, okay,
that's awesome.
I know 3 families that have them.
Oh, really?
Sick.
Yeah, no, they're very nice. Yeah. I remember the the custom vans growing up where they had the TV and the sink and the bed that filled down in the back. I thought we were top notch back in the day.
Well, hey, one of the ladies on our team, they still have one. They still have
one of those custom vans.
They call it the Beast.
Yeah, and then they had the pull down blinds. I'm like, wow, this is excellent.
There's like drapes hanging.
Yeah, there's drapes and stuff. Yes,
so funny.
I'm like, what in the heck is going on in this van? Do not want to know.
Right. I think Turo's pretty cool. And I love that you just have that mindset of like trying different things, and you're just like always little.
Definitely. It's always one-offs. And then sometimes they don't work out, you know. Tried a ATV rental business up in Greer, and that would have been very successful, but didn't have the right management. And, sometimes you have to be the one that's running it to make it work the way you want it to work.
Right. Or at least in the beginning.
In the beginning,
right?
To grow it.
Yes.
Then you can maybe hand it off to the right person, but having those right people on your team, regardless of what business you're in.
100%. Ryan and I say this all the time. It's who, not how. Right? Like getting the right who. And
there's a lot of, sometimes you go through a lot of who's to get to the right wow.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you touched on this, and I absolutely love this, is just like, sometimes it doesn't work, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
Being willing to take a risk and have it not work out, and that failure.
There's been a lot of those things.
Yeah, right.
You can't get down or discouraged or, and that works with any business, and especially real estate. Yeah. Sometimes this stuff doesn't work, but if something's not working, fix it. Right.
Or I would argue sometimes you haven't done it long enough. You haven't given it enough time.
Yeah, I love it. The agents that come in. I did one open house and I had one person come in. When did you do it? Well, Super Bowl on Sunday at 5 p.m.
Right.
Great time.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy. But let me give you a suggestion.
Yeah.
Well, it's like we do geographic farming, and you need to spend a year.
Oh,
expect
easily.
a year to really make that turn
to
into
cultivate
something.
that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And people do it for 3 months and then they peter
But
out.
you know what? It's the consistency.
Yes.
And you know what? We forget about that. It's the follow-up and consistency. And if you don't have the platforms in place or the foundations, and a lot of agents don't have those foundations, and they're like, well, I got that one guy. Met him. Well, did you ever follow up with him? Well, no, but I met him.
Right. Or I gave him my card.
That's awesome because he met 50 other of you 10 minutes later. So what sets you apart from anybody else? And that's what you're going to bring to the table.
And to that point, I think that's why a database is so important, is being able to put those people in a database and then regularly communicate with them.
It's not rocket science.
Right. It's not. And people, especially new agents, they forget that. And I say this, you have to get those good habits early so that they will carry you as you get busier and grow your business,
But these are the habits we don't like, Janine. Mm-hmm. These are the hard work.
It is.
Getting those 10 or 15 or 20 people a day before I go to bed of who I'm going to talk to, and not being desperate salesperson either, because nobody likes commission breath. It stinks. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be that used car salesman when I had to go home and take a shower because I felt like I just got raked over the coals by somebody. Yeah. There's nobody likes that personality
nobody likes
either.
That. But if you reach out and you're kind and you're there if they need you, that's it, right?
Yeah. Show up. Mm-hmm. Show up. If somebody asks you to do something, show up. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all that's expected.
And that's what I think is so amazing about our industry that kind of gets lost, is the impact that we get to have on our clients' lives, and then the relationship that we get to build with them, right? That can last for a really long time. Some of my favorite clients are friends, and that is so awesome. And now, because we have this friendship, they're in turn raving fans, and they tell all their friends about us.
True.
That's amazing.
And that's how you get referrals.
Yeah.
Those are the best, friends to have when they start giving you referrals, or you did a good job at that point.
Yeah.
So but sometimes we have to ask to remind people about that. But being, I've been guilty of it too, and practice what you preach. But I know when I got started, I should have followed up better with my database, because I saw a client that I was good. They had a great experience with me, but 3 years later, I forgot to follow up with them, and they went with somebody else. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I was friends with them.
Right?
No,
don't they? Aren't they supposed to?
Don't they remember what?
Right?
Yeah. Don't they remember me?
Well, I remember sitting down with a broker one time and asked, when I first started, I asked, what is the one thing that you think is the most important? And he said that very thing. Most agents, their biggest regret is that they did not stay in touch with their clients.
Past clients. Yeah. And it's so important to do that, even just a little Popeye.
Yeah.
I love this time of year where my agents come in and bring the pies to the office, and they have all our clients come in and do the pie drive. That's cool. Or even a year after, for around tax time, sending the settlement statement.
Yes.
I was like, that's a freaking brilliant idea. I'm like, that doesn't take you anything to do. It's like, 10 seconds of your day.
Yeah. And
Really.
I think don't take the relationships for granted and assume that they will. Like I had to have that conversation with my sister, like, hey, Amy, I need you to send me some people.
Yeah.
And she was like,
Don't be afraid to ask.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, for sure. And just like keeping them top of mind. Like I think people think, oh, we're so busy or they have enough business. They don't need it. Right. No, we always want to help others. Shane, what didn't I ask you that I should have asked you?
You asked me a lot, Janine.
I know I did.
No,
Okay,
no.
then-
I think we covered a lot.
We did.
Definitely.
I think it's been super good for anybody that is listening, that is an entrepreneur, has an interest in real estate. I think we covered a lot of different topics. We like to end with a little speed round. Are you up for our speed round? Like rapid fire
Wow.
questions.
Okay. If I keep up here.
Okay, I have a good one. Cardio or strength?
Ooh, cardio, because you're going to slim down and get really fast at doing things. So
I love
definitely.
it. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Ooh, favorite food?
Oh, Mexican by far. Yeah.
yes.
Good bean bro and taco.
Favorite drink?
Oh, you know what? You're going to laugh. No,
Yeah, tell us.
Mai Tai. I
Oh,
like
that's
the Mai
right. I
Tais. I like
remember.
the sugar.
I remember,
You know, that's
Shane.
why I have to go do cardio.
We would go to dinner when we would have like our KW
yes.
conferences, and me and you would get these like fruity drinks.
Oh yeah,
love it.
I'll drink a pink drink. It's
I
okay.
love
I'm man
it.
enough to admit that. I know where the good stuff is at. Put a little whipping cream and cherry. I am sold. And an umbrella, please.
Shane, do you have a favorite sound?
Sound. Oh no. I don't have, well, favorite sound. No. Cha-ching. No, I'm just joking. No, I don't know.
I had a feeling that would be it.
Yeah. Who knows?
Okay. Do you have a favorite book?
A book. No, I'm not. I love audiobooks and things like that. So, favorite book. We kind of. I've kind of lost the art of actual paper. It's like how often do you touch paper anymore?
Is there one that just stands out that impacted you?
No, right off the top of my head. No, I mean I would say the Bible, but I mean that is a book. But definitely that's a good one. We're gonna go with that one for right now. Just
Okay. What about, do you have a favorite podcast?
Oh, favorite podcast. Janine's podcast. There we go.
No, for real. You can be honest, Shane. Do you have a favorite podcast?
I do not have a favorite podcast.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, then this is going to be your new
This will
favorite
be my
one.
new favorite podcast.
Yes.
Don't tell anybody, Janine.
Last but not least, and I know you're going to have an answer to this. Do you have a favorite vacation?
Oh, yeah. I love Lake Tahoe.
Oh.
I like Lake Tahoe, or, kind of going up to the mountains, beautiful lake. So if you've never done Lake Tahoe, definitely go do that one.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Well, thanks, Shane, for being with us and sharing so much good info. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Thanks for listening to The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. Make sure to follow or subscribe to the Home Selling Team on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify to stay up to date with our podcast.